I am now creating weekly exclusive content for Patreon, so if you are interested in that, go check out the link down below. And of course, if you want to avoid the random lottery of FIFA points, you want to go straight to the source, buy the players directly, use u7buy.com and use the code TVM at checkout. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. Today's something you may not be interested in, so I will warn you before we even get started. Today, I am going to break down gameplay. I don't do this very often because even though I wish I was better at this game and I'd love to be competing for Elite 3, Top 100s and all the rest of it, and I am very competitive, it's not something that I've never really sort of gravitated towards in terms of FIFA because I'm just not very good at FIFA. That's just, it is what it is, right? So I've decided to make some changes and to try and get better. Not that I'm trying to be competitive. I'm not trying, well, no, that's a lie. I am trying to be competitive. What I mean is I'm not trying to like break into the FIFA competitive scene. I'm not trying to go top 100. I'm not necessarily even trying to get into elite or anything. What I am trying to do though is just be better at the game. So in this instance, and maybe for the future of the Road to Glory, who knows, what we might do is pick out a game every now and again, sit down and literally analyse the gameplay. Now, this is probably my best defensive performance ever, not just in FIFA 20, but in any FIFA. I have played a few games with a new system, in terms of a new defensive system. This is my only effort of the game, by the way. Wait, was it that effort there? Maybe not. It's coming up. Muniain turns there, does really well, gets in here, shoots, and probably should have scored. He hit the post. That is the closest I come to scoring a goal this game. However, that is closer than my opponent gets the entire game. And this guy was a good player. I honestly dread to think what the score would have been had this guy played me 2 days ago, you know, or played me before I started sort of learning how to defend. So what I've done is I know that the way that most people defend in this game is to not control their centre-backs. You often hear and read people moan about it on Twitter when they're saying, well, I just played this guy and he's on one drop back and he hasn't controlled his centre-backs the entire game. He's just controlling his CDMs. And I've always tried to do that and it never really worked. It's because I wasn't doing it properly. And the way I was doing it was either inviting too much pressure, showing my opponent too much of the ball, Kostic is useless, or I was literally just creating gaps and just trying to chase down with the same CDM without really knowing what that meant. So I went and had a look. Been watching a few FIFA coaches. You know, that's one of those sort of new things that's come up a little bit. Saw it last year in FIFA 19 that it was sort of starting to creep into YouTube, and now there are quite a few FIFA coaches. I'll talk more in depth about whom I use and all the rest of it. And I say who I use. Like, I don't pay them. I literally just watch their content, right? But what I've decided to do here is I've downloaded a piece of software that allows me to draw over the screen. So what we're going to do is break down a couple of defensive moves. Now, I don't have a particular piece of play that I want to analyze. I'm just going to stop it wherever I feel necessary, and we'll talk about it. Now, I won't do that for the entire game because we'll be here for ages. But in this instance, and in this example, I've just paused it randomly. It's not a great place to pause it, actually, because I've made a mistake here to a certain extent, and you're going to see the awesome display of Sky Sports over-the-top analysis right here. So what my new way of defending is, and from what these coaches have been saying, your defence, look at that, your defence, which are obviously those three here, and Regulon, who is out here by himself, should only really be interacted with, controlled and moved if they are the last line. So for example here, I'm controlling Awar and I'm moving between the passing lanes. There is absolutely no reason whatsoever why I should be moving in here to put any pressure on Steven Gerrard, because where can he go? If I move in to put pressure on him, then all of a sudden there's a space in behind, and then all Gerrard has to do, take it to Drogba, it goes in here, and then he's in behind me. Or, because Awar is now out of the picture, Awar has gone in here for Gerrard, there is a massive gap in here where Gerrard and Drogba and whomever it is out on the right hand side, I think it's Daniel James, can do whatever they want. So what happens is, and I'm still getting used to this, so we'll play on. Now, the run that Roberto Firmino, I believe, has made has now come to nothing because he's offside. Reguilon and Piqué have come back into line. Sane, for the most part, is being covered because Amavi is more or less out there. He's just aware that he's there. He knows that that exists. So he's got a good starting position. And then he's offside. So now Drogba has maybe this bit of space to move into. But apart from that, where else can he go? I mean, he could maybe play it out to Dan James over here, but there's no angle because Aouar is coming back into this position. So my whole stance on this is going to essentially be what we've been doing for the last few months. I am remaining socially distant from the players with the ball because there's absolutely no reason for me to apply any real degree of pressure, because if Drogba is allowed to turn, and what I'll do is I'll just press play just to see what he does. Now, what can he do from there? Drogba's right-footed, right? So running in here, what's that going to achieve? Absolutely nothing. And he knows that, because if he gets into this situation, he's not exactly going to shoot because Drogba's left foot isn't good enough to do that. He could maybe cut back on it, but I'm controlling Aouar, right? So I have possession, I have control of Aouar. So what I'm going to do is just look to stand Drogba up with enough distance between us that I'm not applying too much that he can try and take me on. And he's not really going to be able to pass around me because I'm keeping my distance. And that's what I've been doing. I'm not trying to be a FIFA coach here because I know I've literally been learning this for like the last 12 hours or something. I've played one game and now I think I'm a god. No, not that at all. I'm not trying to be an analyst. I'm not trying to be a guru in any sense of the word. But what I am trying to do is just show you what I've been doing. And I conceded one goal in the game I played before this. It was a penalty that I gave away. It was a poor decision. I don't think the referee should have given a penalty. It was going nowhere. The ball was going out of play. I've literally gone in to just take possession. I have taken the ball. Well, I've blocked the ball. But in turn then clipped the toe of the attacker. He's gone down, he's given a penalty. But I won that game 4-1 because my defensive display was really good. I was under a lot of pressure. This game, though, I thought I'm going to show this because this was brilliant. And again, controlling Aouar. Gerrard's got the ball. Where's he going to go? Still got Aouar, backing away, moved into the space, and there we go. Aouar's got the ball, and now all of a sudden, he has committed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then his CDM is here. He has committed half of his team to that attack. All we need to do now is play that ball to Kostic or out here, and we are away, and we can go. And I haven't looked at anything with regards to attacking yet, so I don't know if I'm attacking incorrectly. Now, unfortunately, the ball to Kostic was actually given to Saul instead, because FIFA 20, right? So my attacking movement isn't actually very good here. My opponent, by the way, is using the exact same system that I'm using. Now, I'm not saying he's copied what I've done in the first 20 minutes, because that's not true. What he's doing, though, is that, I mean, he's overcommitting a little bit here or there, trying to get the ball back. He is applying pressure with certain players. So I am having to left stick dribble around and try and play it out of danger and what have you. I've gone round there with Kamada. That extra touch was just a little bit too heavy, and it's gone a little bit too close to Alisson. Had that second touch not been a sprint, we would have beaten the defender, and I probably would have been able to get a shot off, and we know how dangerous Kamada can be if you've seen the review. So, once again here, Aouar being controlled. I've still got Aouar cutting that pass in lane. He did get the better of me there, to be fair, but as that spun on, we activate the last line. So what happens is, go back too far. So Roberto Firmino plays it out. Kyle Walker's coming forward with it. Now, I've brought Kubo over. Now, look at the space between Kubo and the Kyle Walker, right? So look at that. That is an adequate social distance right there. There is no need for me to apply pressure to him, because all that's going to happen is if I commit here, he plays it up the line, and then he's got this space in here where there's going to be absolutely no one to defend it, right? Because Kubo's been taken out. So what I do, and I know I don't get the ball back here, but what I do is I keep my distance. There's no need to pressure. So he has to play that right into feet over there, as opposed to playing it down here. He can't, because Kubo kept the distance and it would have been intercepted. So he had to play it inside, which is fine. I don't mind him having the ball inside. He can bring it inside if he wants, because then we can control I've actually tried to auto switch. Look at this. I've tried to auto switch into Awar, and what it's done is it's given me whoever this is out here. So yeah, brilliant. Well done, EA. So what we'll do, play that on. Eventually, I do get Awar back. I've just used LB instead. So again, keeping my distance from Gerrard, making sure that that passing link to Drogba is blocked. We've got an offside situation down here, so he's not going to be able to pass it through. So we're fine, and he's going to have to go backwards. Now, in going backwards, he has got this option, which is Roberto Firmino coming in, and then he can burst forward onto that, and maybe Gerrard can make a run in here, or Drogba could go there. Even Sane around the outside. Didn't use Sane as much as he maybe should have done, because Amavi's positioning isn't... I mean, it's okay. He could backtrack, sure, and then we'd have a little sort of... we'd have a little face-off over here, but I don't know. Let's just play on and see what he does. So he plays it out wide to James. Again, Drogba's gone on a run. Gerrard's going on a run. But there are 3 defenders in front. So realistically, you can't go to them. I've got Awar selected. I'm going to try and block that run to, or that pass rather, to Roberto Firmino. And I get it wrong, right? My angle is unfortunately not perfect. So we'll spin on or go back and play it forward here. So I have Awar, right? And I'm using the wrong colour. You have certain colours for certain things, right? Yellow is balls being played. Pink is runs, or selections. Anyway, so we've got Awar selected. And I'm trying to block this. So what Firmino is going to do is just continue his run behind me. And unfortunately, what I end up doing is I overcommit that run. I'm not tracking it necessarily. What I'm doing is trying to track the man rather than the ball. So I overcommit, I go back a little bit too far. That allows the ball to be played to Firmino, and all of a sudden he has possession, and oh no, we're now in trouble. A very rare situation in this game where my opponent has a clear, not shot at goal, but a shot at my defence. So he's got Gerrard offside, he's got Drogba being marked by PK, and I mean, to be fair, he doesn't have a great deal of option. So what he does is he plays it back in toward Drogba, and now all of a sudden... he's got Gerrard out of the picture. He could maybe try and backheel it to Firmino, or he can go back to Dan James. What does he do? Tries to turn around, tries to stand me up, tries to do a little drag back and get into a situation where obviously he's going to look to hit that ball into that corner, which is what most people would do, I'm sure. But what happens is the defence cluster. I mean, we have quite literally got 4 defenders in front of where that shot could potentially go. Now, Regulon maybe not so much, so we'll remove that. But you've definitely got PK, who is inevitably the one who blocks the shot. But then you've got Sa and Awar, I think it is, who has come in to block any potential shot at this side of the goal. So clear that off and spin on, because we get the block in. We get the ball. We don't get the ball back, sorry. Drogba picks up the ball. He has another go. But there's just too many bodies there. And now I'm not on drop back. I'm on full depth. And I'm on balanced. So I'm not dropping back onto my own goal line. It's just naturally what happens when you sustain this amount of pressure. Your defence and your whole team just have to sink in and try and help to win the ball back. So again, Firmino's there. Munyai comes back. And he manages to take the ball off him. If I just go back very briefly there, because in this situation now, what I've done is what I've learned from the very brief, 4 videos I've watched, and I watched them both twice so that I'm it's sinking in. Because what happens with me normally is I'll watch something and I'll go, right, I'll try and learn that then. And I'll go into a game and I'll kind of remember bits of it. I won't remember the rest of it. So I watched it twice. 4 videos twice to make sure that it's sort of sunk in. So what I would normally have done yesterday morning, for example, I played this yesterday evening. So yesterday morning, before I watched any videos whatsoever, what I would do here is I would take PK and I would force Drogba to do something. And I would move PK out. Therefore, I would create this gap here. Now, it's not a very big gap, I grant you, but it's still a gap big enough for the likes of... Sane to run into, for whomever this is here, Firmino to run into, and then all of a sudden you've got a situation where we're on the back foot. So what I've done instead is I've selected Muniain. Now I could have picked up Kostic if I wanted to over here, but the difference between Kostic and Muniain is Kostic is actually going to be, if we play this on just slightly, Kostic would then have been coming in from behind. We don't want that because we don't want to give away a foul. We don't want a free kick. We don't know how good this guy is at free kicks. They are quite difficult to defend if your opponent knows how to score them. So we refrain from doing that, should we say. And we brought Muniain in instead. We kept the back line as it is. Aouar has got Firmino marked up. If I need to switch into him to make sure that that passing lane is completely blocked, then I can do. We're going to control Muniain. We're going to bring him in. And we are going to see this unfold, whereby Drogba does get the better of Muniain there. I've completely gone the wrong way, but what I did was I tried to block that pass. So here, the pass to Firmino, I mean, he could maybe play it out here to whoever the fullback is, but I'm all right for him to have it out there, because what can he do with it? He can try and run down the line, but we've got plenty of players out there, so I don't need to worry about it. So what he's going to have to do, he's going to have to come in here to Firmino, or he's going to have to go all the way back to Steven Gerrard. If he goes back to Gerrard, we come out, and that's fine. If he goes to Firmino, again, he's marked up by Aouar. Sane has tried to make some sort of run behind Sarr, but it's not really going to do anything. So what happens instead is I overcommit with my Muniain. So what I'm going to try and do here is move into this space to try and stop that pass coming across. And what I end up doing is I end up overcommitting slightly. I should have gone no further than where I am now with Muniain. I overcommit slightly. That I stop, but it's too late because I've allowed then Drogba to play that ball inside. Firmino then all of a sudden has goal side of Muniain. Aouar is close enough, and the back line is still not straight, but it's in position to maybe block whatever shot comes in. But luckily for me, Muniain is quick enough, and he darts in, takes the ball, and then PK can clear it, and we can get it out. Now, it would be easy for me to sit here and just play the rest of the game and do this, and we can make it an hour-long video, but no one wants to see that. I bet you're bored rigid already. So that is essentially, in a nutshell, what I've started doing. I won't play the rest of the game. Essentially, what happens is we can spin on here, and you'll see that nothing happens at all. I say nothing happens. It is what. Look at when he presses pause. By the way, this was very amusing. So we're 54 minutes in. 54, 55. Hello, 55 minutes. Right? He presses pause. 55 minutes. He presses pause, and if we spin on. When does he get to activate that pause? When does the ball go out of play? For the first time? We're still going. We're still going. There. That is when the first time the ball goes out of play from when he paused it at 55 minutes. I'm actually very proud of that, because not both of us, right? Because he was very good defensively, couldn't break him down. He was good on the attack, but what I'd learned and what I was implementing in my defending was stopping him dead in his tracks. So he had to keep going back to go forward, and he had nowhere to go. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not dropping back into my own goal and therefore not giving him any space at all. What I'm doing is I'm giving him too much space. So in real life, if that happened, you could maybe call it parking the bus, I suppose, but we're not on drop back. We're not on one depth. We are on 4. We're balanced. I think we might even be 5. I'll show you the in-game tactics in a second. But the interesting thing about that is the ball doesn't really go anywhere. Nothing happens. And in this case, why does that ball go out of play? It's my attack. So Kamada comes forward. This was the 90th minute. We are into stoppage time. I knew this was the last opportunity that I had to score, and this would be the winning goal if I could get it. I'm okay in attack. I do score my fair share. Unfortunately, my players, they're not like dead on their feet or anything, but I've not had a chance to make subs. Neither has he, obviously, because he tried to at 55 minutes and he's been completely unable to. But I didn't have fresh legs to be able to break back lines and do whatever, so I'm not going to put it down to that. It was just poor decision making in the end, I think. But we get Kamada here. I'm forced out wide. I could maybe have played that ball in through here, actually, and seen if... Because I think that's Kostic, actually. So what I should have done, I should have played that ball. Kostic left foot, bang. And he won't miss, because Kostic left foot is an absolute dream. That's why he's in the team. That rhymed. I didn't. Chance has gone. Kamada goes around the outside. Little drag back fake. Ball into Kostic. And the ball goes out of play because I've not tried to shoot there. What I've tried to do is to do a little fake shot turn into this space. Yeah, it would have been on his right foot. What I probably would have done then, fake shot turn into this space. I probably would have got to about there. And then what I would have done was do a little drag back round the outside onto the left foot, and then hopefully, boom, into the corner, and we would have won the game. Unfortunately, he tries to cross it to no one because the fake shot doesn't work, and the ball goes out of play, and that's literally the first mistake any of us have made for, well, all of the second half. In fact, all of the game, maybe. The first mistake he made, actually, when I hit the post, I should have scored, but we managed to get in behind, and then that second mistake was from me when I didn't do a proper fake shot, and that's the end of the game, and it finished 0-0, and I think he probably would have been frustrated, thinking that I was on one drop back, and I've come away very happy with my performance, because what I'd learned in terms of defending and making sure that you're not applying pressure and that you're just sort of maintaining enough pressure so that they have to try and move and pass around, but you are keeping that distance where you're blocking passing lanes and all the rest of it. And I actually really enjoyed that game despite the fact that it finished 0-0. So before we wrap up this episode, I do have a couple of packs to open. They're nothing amazing because they are from the objectives for players and such, but this is the team that I used in that game and in the couple of games I've played under the new sort of tactics and the new instructions I've set myself. And I've not lost yet. I'm not expecting to go crazy well in weekend league. I'm hoping just to sort of cruise to 14, really. If I've got more time, I'll play on, but we'll see what happens. But that team isn't the best because obviously Kubo's off chem, Munyain's off chem, Amavi's out of position off chem. If I can get Team of the Season Awar, I'd be more than happy to do that because that Awar card is fantastic. Getting a 94, whatever he would be sensational. Kind of hoping he's going to be affordable. I think there are rumours he will get a weak foot upgrade to a 4-star, 4-star. If that happens, he's going to be stupidly expensive. I'm kind of hoping he doesn't get that upgrade because I want him to be affordable. So I'm kind of hoping he does stay a 4-star, 3-star, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. He doesn't actually deserve to be in Team of the Season anyway, but that's by the by. So in terms of my custom tactics, for those who are interested, I go to this one right here. So I'm actually on 5 depth. I thought I was on 4, but apparently I'm on 5. So what I was doing before, and we can see it actually in this one. So this is the one that I was using before I implemented the new system. So I was on 4 depth for defense and 5 width with balanced. I was on long ball and all the way up for width because what I wanted was that option to just launch it down either wing and then either get to the byline and drag it back or to cut inside and maybe go for goal that way. So what made me change was watching people and watching coaching on YouTube, and what they were saying was if you go on long ball, you don't have the option for the short pass very often. So in balanced, you can see in that little mini map that the players don't really move too far away from the ball and from the passing player. But if you switch that up to long ball, all of a sudden players are just going on huge runs forward and the short pass is no longer really an option. And that was definitely a thing. So my possession went from being 50% plus to minus 50% every single game because I was just under sustained pressure. Every time I got the ball, it was just a quick counter-attack. If I got through, I scored. If I didn't, then I'd lose the ball and then be on defending again. So but that's basically where I am. So I'm now on sort of 5 width. I may end up sort of tweaking this slightly, but we'll see where we are. 4 for players in the box. The instructions, actually a 4-2-3-1, of course, as normal, but the instructions are actually a little bit different as well. So the old me and the yesterday me would have put Kostic on getting behind? Stay forward. There is no getting behind here, is there? No. So just stay forward. He's not on that anymore. He is on get in the box for the cross, and it's the same situation for Kubo. Now, the reason for that, and I didn't really think about it before, is that when you do get to the byline, say for instance Kostic has managed to get the ball from Amavi around the outside. Kostic has used his pace. He's got right down to the byline. We've done a little bit of magic. We've got in, and we are just inside the penalty area. What we need is people rushing in so that we can pass it across goal, because that is the meta. That's the best way to score, and that is a tried and trusted way of doing it, right? So Kamada's going to be there because he's the striker. He's not got any instruction on him specifically. Neither is Munyain, actually, but he will naturally try and get forward because he's got a high attacking work rate. Kamada's the striker, so he'll try and do it as well. Now, with getting in the box for the cross, Kubo is coming in from that back stick, if you will, and he will then be in the box with Munyain and Kamada, and then Kostic can play it across, and it's going to hit one of the three, hopefully, and then we can score. That's in my the game I won 4-1. That is the way that I was scoring goals. I think 2 of them came from just standard me doing what I normally do, and then the other 2 came from balls into the box I would probably not normally play, but knowing Kostic or Kubo are arriving late. Not really toyed with the idea of putting that get in the box for the cross for Munyain, because I don't want to overcommit just yet. I'm sort of doing a little bit here or there. In terms of the defence as well, what I would normally do is just put overlap on Amavi and Regulon, but I've now got stay back while attacking on there as well, because I want that back 4 to remain a back 4. I don't want to have to send Amavi and Regulon forward on the overlap and then have to worry about maybe Saul, PK Sarr and Awar picking up all the pieces of the gaps left in behind. And it's proved to be very effective. I've not conceded 1 goal from open play since switching into that system, since using these tactics, and the 1 goal I did concede was from a penalty that I foolishly gave away. The guy was literally going nowhere, and I gave it away. That was my fault, although I do think the referee was to blame, but still. Yeah, and that's it. And then I've got stay back while attacking, cut passing lanes, cover centre for Awar, and then Saul is nothing but cut passing lanes and cover centre. Normally I would put both of those on stay back while attacking, but I need a little bit more in the midfield when it comes to passing, and I've put my more defence-minded player on that stay back, and then Saul, because he's better going forward, is the one allowed the range of movement that I want. So there we go. I mean, that's a full episode of me talking absolute drivel, but what we're going to do is end on a few very bad packs. The one thing I didn't mention, actually, nothing to do with tactics or the team necessarily, but if I get rid of Bellarabi here, what I have to report is that we've acquired Sabitzer. I forgot about Berardi and Mayo. That was, I mean, that's just kind of, I feel upset again now. But we've unlocked Sabitzer. Can't use him in this team, unfortunately, because it just quite literally doesn't work for links. I could maybe try and rejig a few things, but Sabitzer would be first choice over Munyain, I think. I would rather have Sabitzer in the team. But in doing that, of course, we get a soft link to Kamada, sure, but then we would need to I mean, I suppose, does he still get 8 chem, or is it like 7? He's on 7. I suppose that's not too bad, actually. If I convert Awar down, I mean, maybe we could just do that, because he's only, I mean, the difference is only 1 chem anyway. I would much rather have Sabitzer in there. He's got a high defensive work rate, though. As a cam, I'm not sure how well that would work. Yeah, because, I mean, like, Awar isn't particularly good at defending. I think Awar's probably better suited to maybe attacking. Because he doesn't have a defensive chem style on him either. He has a engine, which is interesting. I put engines on everyone, by the way. I don't know. I'll toy with that idea. I think Sabitzer on 7 chem might be a thing. I think the other thing could actually be to now put a French... Oh, no, maybe a Japanese Bundesliga. I don't know. I'm going to toy with it. I think, actually, because I think Kamada could be on full chem without any help from a chem style. So maybe a La Liga Austrian would be decent. Yeah, maybe. I'll mess around. I'll mess around with that and see what we get out of it. I went and bid on a few players. These are just standard rare golds from any league that were available. I don't know if there are any. I doubt there are any La Liga in here. I doubt there are any French league in here either. But they will definitely come in handy. I'm not going to do any Serie A upgrades, the 25k packs or anything, because I don't care enough about that team of the season. There are very few players that could come out that would get me to like change the team. So I'm going to save it for the French league, where Mbappe Ben Yedder, Awar, Verratti, all of those players would make me change. Yes, you heard me correct. Verratti would make me change my team. Reason being is Verratti is super meta, and that team of the season card is going to be mental. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to the French League team of the season more than any other team of the season. So I would imagine we're going to spend a lot of coins on upgrades. I'm going to do a lot of upgrades in terms of what I have in the club. I'm going to gut the club as much as I can, try and generate as many packs as possible, and of course we're going to have red picks. Hopefully we'll have some decent red picks as well. I'm kind of hoping we can get really lucky here and pack something worth 30-40k to just give me a little bit of a boost. Like, we don't have very good packs here at all. They are terrible packs, so it's unlikely that we're going to pack anything. I've not prepared those packs for you. That was just whatever I got from the Sabitzer objective, and I've been doing some João Pedro and things like that. So yeah, there we go though. I mean, this is a very, very long episode. I apologise, he's going to be handy. I apologise if that's not your thing, if you skipped to this point and you didn't really care about the analysis of the gameplay. I'm not trying to claim that I'm an expert in what I'm saying or what I'm talking about, but it's just what I've learned and what I tried to implement, and it worked. You know, only 1 goal conceded from open play so far, and I'm hoping to have a pretty good weekend league with that. I will look at attacking coaching tips as well. But for now, I want to make sure that I've got the defensive side of the game down. I don't want to try and take on too much too quickly, is what I'm trying to say. It's a shame that he's worth like 900 coins, but I'm going to have to discard him. And I could maybe get 450 for him. I probably could have got a little bit more actually because he's Argentinian, but it is what it is. I need to do the advanced SBCs as well, ready for tomorrow's episode of The Road to Glory, where we open a bunch of packs ready for that new French League team of the season. So I have to do all that tonight, as well as play a few Weekend League games. So in tomorrow's episode, there will be a couple of Weekend League games, and there will be some packs, hopefully. Some decent packs as well. I mean, nothing too crazy, but I've got a few packs from, obviously, the Advanced SBC. I think there's like 5 to come out of that. And I think I've got a couple more packs that I need to, like a couple more SBCs I need to complete. Unfortunately, we didn't get a board in any of those packs, but like I said, I wasn't really expecting anything because they were very bad packs. Only takes 1 rare, of course, but, you know, that wasn't, the luck wasn't on our side that time. And that is untradeable. That is unfortunate. Is he a duplicate, untradeable duplicate? No, he's not. Nice. Hang on. Does he sell? Because he is 80 rated. There we go. I was going to undercut myself big time then. I was going to undersell him. But I looked. So there we go. That is the end of today's episode. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, then do me a favor and hit the like button, and I won't do more of these more often, but if I do have a particularly good game and there's something in it that I want to talk about, we can now break it down and draw over it and all the rest of it so it'll actually look decent. My aim is to actually get to the point in this game where I can comfortably just get to gold 3 without breaking a sweat, without worrying too much. I'd love to be good at this game, and even though we're nearly in June now, if I could now become really good at the game, I would take that just for 2 months. I really would. So let's hope that that wasn't just a fluke few performances and that defensive style is actually going to help me out. If you have enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.